Russia has a new main commander of its military operation of the war in Ukraine. His name is General Alexander Dvornikov, and he is a veteran, a seasoned general. He was dubbed the Butcher of Syria for the operations that he commanded in that country. He was basically already in control and in command of the southern front, Russia's forces in the south. And after the death of his counterpart, Vladimir Putin promoted him to the main commander. So he's tough, he's relentless, he's known for bombarding areas, particularly in Syria, with high civilian casualties. And we're already seeing that, obviously, in the Kyiv region, what happened here, and then in the east as well. You mentioned that 8-mile-long Russian convoy. It was heading south, heading towards what looked like the Donbass region, possibly more than likely to link up with the Russian troops on the ground there, and continuing the bombardment of the east of Kharkiv and some of those surrounding areas, Kramatorsk, the railway station that was horrendously hit by that Russian missile a couple days ago, killing more than 52 people and wounding 100 others, including 5 children. This, as also forces here in the surrounding Kyiv region have been demining some of these areas, basically getting rid of the mines that have been planted there by Russian forces, also IEDs, also some of the booby traps. We saw and heard some of that activity over the weekend. In the distance, sometimes here in central Kyiv, you can hear those demining activities, and Russian or Ukrainian officials say they've so far demined at least 11,000 mines and booby traps and IEDs, as I mentioned. President Zelensky, he spoke earlier today with the South Korean parliament. He addressed the parliament asking for more aid, more weapons, appealing to the parliament to step up and help Ukraine's military as well. This, as again, he talked about the relentless bombing in the east on the front lines there, and Mariupol. He says a city that has been destroyed, a city that remains under siege, and despite being destroyed, Zelensky said that Russia continues its relentless bombardment and an offensive there.
John, we were showing video of Prime Minister Boris Johnson walking with President Zelensky. In terms of diplomacy or an assistance from other nations within Europe, how significant was that meeting with Boris Johnson and Zelensky and other Ukrainians?
Well, it was very significant. Johnson said it was a show of solidarity. It was an unannounced surprise visit. And they talked about not only the military aid, more than £100 million or $130 million in financial and military support that the UK announced that it was giving Ukraine, but also the two of them walked around the central area. In fact, Jim and I just went and had lunch in kind of the main city square. That's where they were walking. I mean, pretty incredibly that the president and the prime minister took a stroll on a beautiful afternoon, basically to show that solidarity and that basically that they're, the courage of both nations coming together, and all nations that have been supporting Ukraine as well.
All right, John Huddy there reporting live for us there from Kyiv. He has the latest. John, thank you very much. We do appreciate it. Stay safe.